The MCU is filled with dozens of heroes, and as they all come together for the Avengers Infinity War, you cannot help but think about the ones left off-screen. Throughout the years, numerous members of the comic book Avengers have just been left out or ignored in the MCU. Watch with us as we highlight 25 of these iconic heroes. Before you watch, click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new Screen Rant content. As the female counterpart to the Hulk, She-Hulk could have provided some extra strength, power, and rage to the Avengers. Guess with so many struggles on Hulk solo films, the MCU didn't want to take a risk with another Hulk character in the Avengers. Too many sons of gods would create a cluster, so it's only natural Marvel went with Thor over Hercules, the son of Zeus. Although a crossover with Dwayne Johnson's portrayal as Hercules would have been pretty sweet, don't expect the mighty warrior to pop into the MCU anytime soon. Tigra and her cat-like superpowers would have been fun to see on the big screen, but she probably would have found herself competing with Black Widow over black leather jumpsuits. As the brother of Thanos, Starfox could have provided some great intel on the Mad Titan, but his womanizing ways don't exactly fit into the modern era of filmmaking in the MCU. One of Marvel's first mutants was their version of DC's Aquaman, and known as Namor, the Submariner. Iconic in the comics, the MCU has not found a proper spot for the hero among their current Avengers lineup. Speaking of mutants, the Beast was one of the first X-Men to join the Avengers, but 20th Century Fox's film rights to the character prevented him from joining on the big screen. For now. The Black Knight could have valiantly rode in on his horse and helped take on Thanos, but who needs a trusty steed when Wakanda is filled with armored rhinos? The dated character works in the comics, but would feel extremely out of place in the MCU. Wonder Man would have made a great addition to the Avengers, and Nathan Fillion was set to play him as a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but the character was cut from the movie. Maybe confusion about a woman with wonder influenced the decision a little bit. There are so many similar characters between DC and Marvel, but one of the more blatant ripoffs is Moon Knight. The former member of the Avengers is a billionaire who uses high-tech gadgetry to fight crime in his dark costume. Sound familiar? If Ben Affleck is out as Batman, maybe he could return to Marvel as Moon Knight. A prominent Latina superhero known as FIREBIRD would have fit great into the Avengers. She has the ability to use flames for attacks and flight while taking on enemies like the Corruptor. What do you get when you mix Daredevil with Wolverine and add a goofy persona? The Demolition Man, a pointless hero and one of the weakest additions to the Avengers. His confusing costume design and persona would make fans think the MCU was trying to sneak in a Wolverine ripoff. While Thanos plans his attack on Earth, Tony Stark and his Avengers buddies might want to call on Quasar to help with the rest of outer space. Known as the Protector of the Universe, Quasar's abilities allow him to travel to outer space, visit multiple planets, and fend off alien life forms as needed. If Namor isn't getting a spot on the big screen Avengers, then don't expect Stingray to appear anytime soon. Basically an extremely smart marine biologist, Stingray wears an enhanced suit and has no true powers. Hulk's anger is enough for one movie, and we're not even sure if we could take Rage's white tiger clown mask seriously. The character was a 13-year-old kid who transformed into a hero after being exposed to toxic waste, but adding him to the MCU would feel like a waste for everyone else. With Vision taking on the role of the Avengers android, Machine Man and his extremely basic name are not really needed. Spider-Man is still fresh off his homecoming, dashing any chances of an expanded Spider hero world in the near future. Although it would be cool to see Spider-Woman on the big screen for the first time. Multiple versions of the Spider-Woman hero have joined the Avengers over the years, and she could provide some much-needed support for Spidey. Hawkeye earned the big screen honors first, eliminating any chance of seeing the similarly named Darkhawk in the MCU. While Hawkeye relies on precision shooting with his bow and arrow, Darkhawk is a robot with all types of powers and gadgets. Formerly known as Marvel Boy, Justice and his telekinesis powers would have come in handy while figuring out Thanos' plans for destruction. Plus, we could have had a little more romance in the MCU if Justice was joined by his former Flame and Avengers member by the name of FIRESTAR. Not to be confused with FIREBIRD, FIRESTAR controls radiation to use her powers. The tag team duo would do well both in the MCU or through their own Netflix show. Now here's a concept the MCU could have thrived on. A British school teacher and mother gets killed while protecting Captain America. She becomes reborn and transformed into the masked hero known as Lionheart. The compelling backstory and sweet costume was made for the big screen, but Lionheart has remained locked away in the comics. Are the Avengers looking for a way to get their precious Infinity Stones back? Send in the nut-gathering squirrels to gather them. If Ant-Man worked for the MCU, Squirrel Girl could one-up him with her rodent powers and be a huge hit. The ranks and struggles of power in the MCU are hard enough to sort out as it is, so adding another captain to the mix would create too much confusion. This leaves Captain Universe out of the cinematic universe, although the Captain Universe powers did once transform the Hulk's skin into a nice shade of blue rather than green. One of the biggest exclusions from the MCU was the intergalactic hero known as Nova. It's a pretty big diss when you have your comic book series, your own police force, and was a prominent member of the Avengers. The Hulk's world could have really expanded with the introduction of HULKLING, a young hero with shape-shifting abilities. Not only was HULKLING omitted, but the possibility of the MCU's first gay couple would have appeared on screen if WICCAN was included as well. We're guessing the use of the Scarlet Witch pretty filled up the need for witch powers in the MCU. What hero do you want to see the most on the big screen? Is there anyone we missed? Should the next Avengers movie introduce more of these heroes? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos.